Hello my friends, how are you? Here is Davi Calil and welcome to the Pintura Relâmpago channel. We'll do this video in English again. There are a few of them, but I will still keep working on it and working on my English as well. So thank you very much for watching. In these days I'm doing kind of one painting and one tutorial every day because of the lockout that here we call quarentena in Brazil, and I hope you are all well at your home, studying and doing whatever you can to stay locked, and let's just do this for as much time as we can to help to stop spreading the virus so quickly. Well, I think you all know about this more than I do because the news and the everything, everybody's talking about this. So let's talk about painting because that's one thing that I can really share some knowledge about. Just to remember, the first videos I've done were in English. This was the first one I've done for my friends in Cartoon Saloon from Ireland. I hope you're all well there. And then after this one, I got excited to do the videos in English. Even my students here in Brazil, they like it to watch, so thank you very much as well, because some of them or most of them are also studying English and painting. So it will help not only the English speakers, but the Brazilians who want to learn English and painting. As I said, don't try to learn my English. My English is not that good. But I think some words, some key words you will be able to learn here. And that's very good. Because in these days we work all over the world. And English is the best language to know at this time, when you are going to work out of your own country, and if you're not an English speaker as myself. So after this one, I was not brave enough, I think, to do the videos in English, but after this one I got some courage, and then I did this, that I think is one of the most important videos, and I've seen that few people are watching it. In the views, like it has few views, fewer, because I understand it's not like, if you see a thumbnail with this image and this image, which one would you like to watch? I'm sure this one will be the winner, because it's more exciting to watch this painting and this process. But this here is where I tell the secrets of the technique. All right? So I know it's boring. I try to make it not that boring. As I said in the video, I'm always trying to make it fun, like I have fun when I'm learning. I hope you do too. But I understand, to see a portrait being painted, it's more excited, so it's alright. Today I will keep working on the system in the way that I teach here in Brazil. So usually I start with the process, then I go for the values, black and white, transparent, opaque, and hard edge, soft edge, all of the elements of the technique that we will use with colors later. But we need to know this, like there's no limited of studies of this. I study black and white until this day, and I'm still learning. And I paint for almost, 25 years of my life. I started kind of young and I never stopped. But in the other hand, this channel is more of a Portuguese channel, so Brazilian, and I speak, most of the videos are in Portuguese. So if you want to watch, I will just tell. Later, I began to work in the Brazilian videos, in the Portuguese videos, because it's more advanced. I just began with you guys in English, but in Portuguese, I've been doing this for 1 year now, so I advanced a lot. And here, the concept that I'm working is to make studies from classic paintings. So it's like this was inspired in a Rembrandt painting, and with anthropomorphic animals. So I will choose one animal, I will analyze its structure, I will make a study, and then I will mix this animal, this is a lemur, with the classical painting. So it was a self-portrait of Rembrandt. I did this study, I copied, but I mixed it with this anthropomorphic animal, doing this mix. I have a lot of fun doing this, you know. I love art history, I love classical painting, and I love to have fun. So I try to do all the same time. Here is another one. This is my cat, Mingau, and I mixed it with a Velázquez painting. So I will do more of this. If you want to watch in Portuguese, I don't know if you will have the patience or if you will find it fun to watch, but you can just take out the sound maybe and what, I don't know. You do whatever you want. I'm just telling you, if you go to those videos, it will be around this. And as well, I'm doing another thing because I will do 40 paintings. I don't know how many paintings in this lockout. So I'm just working different ideas. This is a fan art of a project called Black Orion. It's from a friend here, an author, an excellent artist here from Brazil called Bruno Selig. And this is his project called Black Orion. And then I did a fan art. He sent me a drawing and I worked on top of his drawing. It's not my drawing. I worked it like in a jam session, you know, like he started and I finished it. And this video is there already. Okay, so let's go to your video from today. From today, I think after we do the value, after you do some of this, don't do just one, do as many as you can. I would say to you to start with monochromatic. I call monochromatic only 3 colors because are the primary colors. There are other ways to talk about this. Those are the words that I choose to talk about this. Monochromatic, the only monochromatic I do here is cyan, magenta, and yellow, the 3 primary colors, right? So today I will work with cyan. When I say monochromatic, I'm saying that we can do 2 different ways. So first of all, I will choose one of the colors. Black and white, I will not consider colors. I would consider value, right? It's not, we don't need to discuss or argue about the concept of what's a color, what's not a color right now. Just to make it easier to understand the process. So we don't talk about black and white as colors. We try to understand this as value variations on the value scale. So the colors are only 3. Cyan, magenta, and yellow. And all of the colors that will emerge from the mix of those 3. That are all of the colors that we can see. I promise you, I've been working only with those 3 colors for more than 10 years now, and I can do all of the colors. And it's so easy when you learn, because I don't need to worry about buying a lot of tubes, you know. I just need to have those 3, and if I have some problem with my colors, that's the advantage. I know that the problem is in 1 or 2 of those 3 colors. If I need a green, that's not the green that I want, the problem will be on the yellow or on the blue, or if the value is right. So it seems that's harder to work with 3 colors only, but after a while, when you learn, when you get confident, it's a lot easier. I will not try to convince you here. You do whatever you want. I will just show the videos and the process, and if it helps you, it helps you, and then you can use. But feel free. There are no rules in art. I think the only rule is to be honest with yourself and express yourself in the best way you can. Because the painting and drawing are languages. We use it to tell things, to say things through our art, right? We don't do art just to show that we are good at painting. Oh, I'm good at drawing. I'm drawing to show that I'm good. This is kind of boring message for me. I like to see something on it, something more than the skill. And usually it's about expression. Some portraits, they don't say a lot, but the expression in the character, the way the camera is done, the way the composition is done, the light, everything is telling something to me, right? So it's a bit subjective, but we can talk about this later. Let's go to the painting. So I want to work, because I will tell you to study the masters of the past. It's very good to work with pictures, photos. It's very good to know the artists from today, but in the past we have thousands, millions of artists, amazing artists, that if you know, each one has a unique story, a unique technique, and if you know most of them or some of them, it will help you to improve your painting knowledge, because those guys who survived the history, they're not the ones that their names are written in big letters, you know, in art history. It's not for nothing that they are remembered. It's because they did something that's relevant, and it's good to study them. So I have some of painters that became my favorite painters, especially in the 19th century, and especially Van Gogh and Toulouse Lautrec. I think those are two of my favorite, and I want to make a study from Toulouse. I cannot show this book very well because it's big and it doesn't show it, but Toulouse Lautrec. I love his colors, I love the way he paints, I love the subjects he chooses, I love everything about him. I love him, his figure. It's a very sad story, both of them, Van Gogh and Toulouse, but they live their lives very in an intense way. So I cannot show you the reference, but I want to work this one. And look at how colorful it is. And I will bring this to blue and white only, right? Cool. I will put it there because I need to watch it, but I cannot leave it. I think here is okay. And as I said, two ways to work with monochromatic. Only blue and white, or blue, black and white. Right? In this way, if you use only blue, it's watercolor, because then you need to use the white of the paper. And I don't want to work on this method. I like to work the lights with thick paint. Cool? So, I need to do, this is the simplest. It's like the way I work it with black and white, but now it's cyan and white. And then later, I will do cyan, black and white, then you will understand what it changed. What it changed basically is that here, if I have monochromatic, I will not go from white to black. I will go from white to cyan. Here will be pure cyan, and then I will go up. What does it affect? How does it affect our painting? Because the darkest value of my painting, in this painting, will be pure cyan, no blacks. And this, it doesn't change the painting, but it changes the mood, the feeling around the painting. And the whole painting will be in a higher key, because I will, my low key will end in blue. And I know I can go a lot darker than just pure blue. So I will not have these darker tones in this painting. I need to choose this in the beginning and follow this rule, right? So it's a self-imposed rule. Right, let's begin the painting. Water, just a little bit of blue, and I will mix here and make the drawing. Let's see. I really love Lautrec's painting. Let me bring it close. I have a comic book, I will show you later, called One Night at Lynn Fair. And the characters are my favorite painters. Van Gogh, Gauguin, Toulouse Lautrec, Goya, and Gustav Klimt. So I did a comic book that the characters are those painters. And they are in a satanistic cabaret that existed in the 19th century in Paris called Cabaret de l'Enfer. I'll show you later, I have some things there. Let's focus on the drawing here. So I need to bring this to blue only and choose to crop this image. So I think here is her face, here's the shadows. Okay. I think I can move it. Down a little bit. Remember, the triangle in portraits, they happen so often. It's not for nothing that they happen this often. It's because it looks very good when you put a portrait, a triangle shape in the structure of a portrait. That's why. That's why I say there are no rules on painting, but there are some principles, some concepts that they work very well. It's like undeniable. It doesn't make you paint like everybody else. It just frees you to do whatever you want when you have the techniques. People who doesn't have technique, they usually say, oh, but I want to have my own style. Man, all of these painters, the best ones, they had their style. Even though they are following a process it's similar. If you look at Toulouse Lautrec, he broke all of the rules almost. But he knew that's something, it's all talking this, but I will say anyway. If you knew the rules, you know how to break it. And if you don't know and never studied, you're not creating your own style. You are probably doing everything that people do when they don't know the process. You know, like I don't want to call it mistakes, but you waste energy in things that don't work when you don't know, when you don't have the skills. I just feel this. I felt that before I would waste a lot of energy in things that are not important, and now that I have the process, it's easier to find what's more important for the painting, and especially when you are planning. So, yeah, now I will start the darker blue to make the drawing. See, this is the structure. It's kind of almost the structure of a trash, saco de lixo. I don't know, a bag, trash bag. You know, like when you take out the trash, doesn't look like. But I will make this look like a face. I love the light of this painting because the light is coming down here on her. So I need to get darker blue and make the drawing appear. So her eyes are around here. Her nose is around here. Her mouth. She seems a little bit drunk. Toulouse Lautrec would... Maybe he would paint this as well when he was drunk, because he would stay all night drinking and painting in these cabarets. This is not good for your health, just for you to know. He was not good because he was drunk. He was good because he was good. The drinking was a problem in his life. Never something... Like, I like to drink, but when you get drunk every day, then I think you understand that you have a problem. He lived for, he had a short life. Van Gogh and him, unfortunately. See, so this is the drawing. And the light is coming down here. And here we have a value that changes here as well. As I said, the light is here. Here goes to the shadows. Here is opaque. 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 So here is darker. Okay, I'm finding the darker places to work the value right now. I will get a larger brush. See? This is better for the small things, but when I want to put color or a value in some places, it's better to use a larger brush, less, as I said, don't waste energy, don't waste your time, don't try to go in a large area with a small brush. Sometimes I see students with a small brush doing like, oh, yeah, it's hard work to paint. I said, no man, you don't need to do this, you can get a larger brush to work in the larger areas, you know? That's the difference. If you're painting digital, if you want a larger brush, you just need to press a button, and it gets bigger and smaller. And in traditional media, you need to buy another brush. You need to have all of the brushes. This is more expensive. Everything is harder in traditional painting. It's not that it's better, or if it's just harder, you know. Painting is hard in any media. Digital painting it's you still have to know how to paint to do a good digital painting. But if you compare the process, traditional media, you don't have the superpowers of the computer to help you to work in layers, to save files, to undo brush strokes. You just don't have this. And it's cool. I like the limitations because when I go to the traditional, when I go to the digital, I kind of do whatever I want. It's like, it's not that it's easy, as I said, but it's how can I explain? It's just that you put yourself in so much trouble when you are doing traditional painting that when you go to digital, you feel that you don't have to be afraid anymore, because things will be, you will be able to work through some things that in traditional media you can just you just don't. There's this movie from Wood Allen called Midnight in Paris, maybe, I don't know, in Portuguese it's Midnight in Paris. And I really like it, this movie, and it's in, spoiler alert, they travel to the Belle Epoque at one time in the movie, and they meet some of my favorite painters, and it's so cool when they do this. See, right now that I'm working on the value and the atmosphere, the mood of the painting. So like here we have a texture, like a pattern like this, and here we have darker value. It's okay if I go across this, I will work it later. Right. Okay, I think here I have the basis to start working, because here I have the composition, I have the idea, the blocks of the values, like the low key, the mid key here, and the high key is around there, right? So, oh, I was watching. Sorry about this. Right. I was watching the videos in English and I noticed that I say right all the time. So I will try not to. Right? I'm sorry. In Portuguese, I think I do the same with entendeu? Entendeu? So I'll try to work on this and improve the way I talk as well. Okay. Let's go darker now with blue, like almost pure blue. Because how do I know that I arrived here in the darkest? When I use pure blue without water. It's the darkest. No, or just a little bit of water to control it, but and I'm not in pure blue. Even here, it's not pure blue yet. So I want to go there. Then I feel that I touch it here, and then I can start go up with opaque. Right? Remember this process? We start here with water, like watercolor, and we go down until we get in the pure darkest value. And then we start to add white on this value and then go up again to build the lights of the painting. So we go down to the shadows and we go up to the lights. And then we go back here and we do this until we get the painting done. That's the process that I created. When I say created, it's because I put all of this together in this way, but I studied the painters of the past a lot. I studied with painters in studios in Brazil, oil painting, watercolor, very classic methods. And then I built this gouache technique that I like. Right? So when I say created, I didn't create anything. I just learned different stuff and put it together in a way that maybe I haven't seen in this way. Because if I had, I would just work, because it works perfectly for me. All right, I think it's dry. No, not dry yet, but it's enough for me to keep working. You need to pay attention to this. If you work, if you don't wait to wet to dry, sometimes you cannot keep working on paper while it's wet. So you need to know this as well. So here I will try not to use water. It has a little bit because sometimes it's too thick to work pure from the tube. It depends of the brand of your gouache. Some gouaches are thicker than others. But if I'm doing here like no water, just the water that's here already, let's see the impact of this. And these expressions of joy that Lautrec would work a lot, you know. As I said, he would paint in the cabarets, in the nightlife of Paris. So people usually were drunk and celebrating and doing something. These things that we cannot do anymore while we are locked out. But I just imagine when all of this ends and people start going out again, it will be a party. We just need to be safe right now. Take care of your parents, grandparents, like people who are over 60 years old. We need to take care of them. It's very important at this moment. We have a stupid, idiot president here in Brazil. I'm so ashamed of him. He's just like the stupid person I've ever seen in my life. I know that United States has a stupid president as well, but here, ours is the worst of the world right now. I'm sorry, guys. I always fighted against this president in Brazil. Always went out and talked against him. And so disappointed with Brazilians that helped to elect this idiot. and he's like doing the worst decisions right now. I'm happy that at least some people are starting to realize that he's an idiot and there's no way to follow this stupid person, especially in this moment. Look at this dry brush technique that I'm using. Sometimes I forget to talk about the techniques. See that I clean the brush and I come only with a little bit of paint because I don't want it to be too strong. As I said, another painting, it's cool because you start to understand your painting while you are painting sometimes. The shapes that are not that clear in the beginning, after some brush strokes, after some time painting, you start to realize, oh no, this shape is more like this is more like this is larger, this is thinner. So it's okay to change a little bit. The whole structure is working because I paid attention on the structure in the beginning. But some of it this is the darkest. This is my this lace here is my low key. So I need to put some here, some tone here that's darker to put on top of it the low key. And here's darker as well. Can you hear the difference of the sound of the brush stroke? This is dry brush sound. You know, like you can tell by the sound. When I'm teaching and I say to use the dry brush technique, I just try to listen to the sound and I can tell if the student is doing it right. Let's put pure. Look at here. I will try to go to my, see, no water. I will do the low key. And the design, the shape must be, see how the low key just showed up. Right, I think I'm half an hour. I talked a lot in the beginning, so it's almost 20 minutes of painting, and it's okay. It's going all right. Something I need to do, that's something I choose to do, is to take all of the white from the painting, the white of the paper, and build up the light with thicker paint, right? But this is some students that come from a watercolor background, they kind of die inside of them when they just cover the white of the paper, because they are so used to work with the white of the paper. But that's another reason to do it, because otherwise you will keep working as a watercolor painter. And here we need to learn how to work with thick paint if you want to learn this. So this is more like this half of the, let's say, well, I arrived here, I did this. So this half is like a watercolor technique. This is like oil painting technique, right? So that's why I mixed those, because I studied a lot of watercolor, I studied a lot of oil with different professors and by myself, and then I mixed all in gouache. So right now I will just get my larger brush, I will get a light blue, because I don't want to cover all of the values that I work. I just want to take the white out. Because it's easier to work the opaque value in a darker background, just for this reason, and it's enough reason. Okay. See? Didn't hurt. Now I don't have white, I have this mid-low key. And now let's put some white paint. And go for the go up in the stairs. And let's remember, I will not I will go from the darker to lighter. I will not put white and just work here, start to work here. I need to make like a progress, you know, from darker to light now, opaque. So we choose the darkest value of the opaque etapa. How we say etapa in English? I was going to say the next season, like is season 1 was the transparent, and season 2 is the opaque. I know it's not season, but I think it might be understandable. That's what I do when I don't know the word in English. I just try to explain as a metaphor or in different words. I don't know. I think you are smart and you understand what I'm saying. Let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, good. The first opaque is good when you can put it and it will not show up very much. Like here. See? It goes together with the other values that are right there. This is good because I can build their relation slowly. I can correct the design of the shapes right now. Some of those lines in the beginning, they were just experimental. I was trying the paper, the paint. Now it's getting more serious. So I need to put an effort to get the shapes simple and strong and with a good sense of aesthetic, of design. When I'm doing this, I feel like I'm a musician that is playing a classical music. It's like, okay, let's get what's the romantic painter that Delacroix did his portrait? Oh, I forgot his name. Let's say Beethoven. It's not Beethoven, but let's say Beethoven. It's very famous. You just want to learn music and to read music. Then sometimes you will study these old masters and not copy their work, but play their work. So here I feel that I'm playing Toulouse Lautrec's song and learning from this experience. And then I will do mine. And even though this was not the case, I just have so much fun painting from his work. I feel that I understand him more when I do this. That this was a reason for me to keep studying, just for the joy of painting. I read this, was in Portuguese, I will try to translate, but I liked the idea that drawing and painting is not something you do, but it's a place that you go. So in this lockout period, I just hide in this place that I go since I'm a child. When I'm doing this, I don't think about many things. It's don't know. I just feel good, feel blessed to be able to spend my time painting and doing something that brings me this joy. And I spend my time and my day in a productive way. So it's a win-win situation. See, it's getting all in the mid-tone. And that's it, because I want to go to the high keys, but I need to have the mid keys on their place before. It's better if we do. Okay, so let's put this mid-tone in her face as well. Now I will start to build something that I say to my students. The light's coming from here, this direction. So I work the light from the direction that it's coming. So I will begin here and go up. Begin here, go up. Always fading before it touches the shadows. Because the shadows I want to be transparent. I want to be like watercolor like. So the lights, I will bring it slowly from the direction of the light, and I don't want it to touch the shadows. It's okay if we go over the shadows sometimes, we can go back later, but and as I said, every time I go with opaque, it's a chance to make the shapes and the design of the shapes of the painting look better. She has a large chin. It's so and looks good like this. I like characters like this. See, now I will paint her lips with the negative space, with the outside. That's what I say about correcting the design with negative space. This is so useful when you are painting in digital or in traditional media. Digital media, I do the same when I paint with digital. Yeah. So it's a bit larger than I want, but I can come with the darker in the second round and just make it straight again. Can do just a little bit here maybe. Yeah, because then I will work with a lighter. Here. Yeah, just a little bit of light here. Now, what I need to do, I need to bring lighter, 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 work with more white, less water, and build the high key. See, this is without the high key. That's why it doesn't look good. It's in the middle. When I bring the high key, it will come up, and then this mid key will go behind, and we'll feel the 3D starting to show up. And then later I can come in the end with darker again and just work the place that they need to be worked. I don't want to do this now. Now I want to keep going light with light, light, light. So let's work her skin, because her skin is the high key. I need to make it shine, but not in one layer. Learn how to work with different layers of paint. Plan in your head those layers before you do it. Each layer has a reason to exist, has a function. They're not there. If they don't need to be there, they don't need to be there. If they don't have a function, they don't need to be there, actually. It's like when you're writing a story and you have a character that does nothing for the story. It's just because, oh, it would be cool to have someone like this. No, if it doesn't work in the story, you should take it out. It's like a brush stroke. If this brush stroke doesn't have a reason, it doesn't need to exist. Here. Frottis with the dry brush again. Just to bring some light here on the nose, but just a little bit. Yeah. And I think that's my way. That's what happens with me, not my way. In this opaque is where I feel happier when I'm doing, you know, like this part, when I start to build the lights with thicker paint, it's where I feel better in the process. It's kind of like I was working just to get in this part. Feeling, I don't know, try to observe how do you feel during the process. If you feel more excited or more afraid when you're doing the darkers or the lights, this tells something about you. if you are afraid to do this, most of my students, if it helps you to feel better about yourselves, most of my students, they ruin their paintings when they're beginning the opaque. They go very well in the first round, but then they start to lose it because the opaque, it's not so intuitive like watercolor, and it takes a while to understand the system. So if you feel like this, just know that you are not alone, and that most of my students feel the same until they start to understand the opaque, and then it helps more than it disturbs. If you say I use my fingers like this sometimes to do a frottis. I've learned this working with charcoal with one of my oil professor. He made me study charcoal. It's very good, the classic way of learning charcoal. Okay, now I think her face is almost done. Like, I like her expression. It's very vivid, and it feels like the original painting as well. But I need to work around, and then I finish the touches on her. So let's go around with those as well. And I don't know if I said this before, but I will say again and again, either way. Don't wait for the paint, like don't paint, don't study to see a beautiful painting. Study to learn. Don't worry, because it takes a while to see some, for some of your studies to look good or to be proud of it. So you need to be proud of the lessons that you learn, not the way the painting looks. It will look better after a while, I promise you, if you keep working. But in the beginning, you need to try, and to try, you need to make like mistakes or to ruin some paintings. So don't have empathy for yourself. Don't put too much pressure. Do your best always. It's not no excuse not to do your best. But we are studying to learn. We're not studying to do beautiful paintings. It will become beautiful or terrifying, either way, whatever you want. But I'm saying, because students, when they don't paint to understand, when they paint to see a result, like to put on Instagram, to show their parents or someone else, and just to have, like those compliments, oh, how good. Don't think about this right now. It's not the time. Because we need to look at a painting that we don't like and feel proud that we learned on this process. Later on, I promise you, it's like learning a new language. When I was learning English, I didn't learn English very young, as you can tell. But I needed to learn sometimes. I lived in the United States for a while. I lived in London for a while, and I traveled a lot around the world before I settled down in Brazil. So English was like, I would not be able to travel and do all the things that I've done if I didn't know how to communicate in English. As I said, to teach in English is a different thing. I'm trying my best. But to speak English, to communicate with you guys, if I meet you, it would be easy for me. Because it's hard to paint, it's hard to talk while you're painting, and it's even harder to talk in another language while you're painting. Okay, I'm almost there. I feel that I can go like full white in her skin, and then go to the darker corners here that I need to work. So let's go full white. So we'll put like white, very thick, and then I will work the design. Like here is hard edge, see? But here inside is soft edge. So I need to work the frottis, like the dry brush. Understood? Hard edge to define the shape, soft edge to mix with the I don't have the word. To mix with the color that's on the bottle. I don't know. Maybe to clean a little bit more my brush. What's nice about Toulouse Lautrec's painting is it's like the brush strokes are very lucid. It's very work in a fun way. Oh, that's some concept that I think a lot in my life. Just try to see if it makes sense for you. Some painters, some artists, when I see their work, I can tell they were having fun while they were drawing. I just can't tell. I look and say, okay, this guy was having fun. And some painters, you can tell that it was not fun for them. It was hard. It's not that we cannot do hard work stuff. I do hard work stuff as well. But I love when I have fun painting. And I really try my best to make this my style, you know, like the style that I like to paint is the style that I have fun painting. So if I sell to the world this style of painting as like, oh, this is what I want to do. When I get jobs like illustration or something, like a background to paint or something, I will do in the way that I have fun. Because that's what I show the world. So you need to find what makes you have fun on painting. And then you show the world like this. You say, okay, world, this is what I'm best of and this is what I like. Does it make sense? Like in Brazil, in the 90s, when I grew up like as an adolescent, my teens were in the 90s. And in Brazil, there were a lot of people, like most of my friends. I even wanted, but then I realized that was not for me. That began to work for the Marvel, DC Comics, and all of these big superhero comic books. Like a lot of Brazilians are very they became famous in US actually, like drawing and doing this stuff. And I was in my teens. I was reading those comic books, And I wanted to be like them. I wanted to do like superhero and this stuff, but I suck at it. I needed to admit to myself it was not good because it's not my vibe. It's not what I really like. So it doesn't matter if just want. I need to know myself enough to know that that's possible, and it was not. Like a lot of friends of mine began to work for the superheroes because they didn't have only the knowledge of drawing, they had the personality that works good in this area. They love to draw the characters the way the editors of Marvel and DC love to see the drawings. So, and I don't. I will show you my comic books later. It's not superhero. So as I said, I was suffering because I wanted to be part of something that I kind of not. I was not choosing because I really wanted. I was just saying, okay, this is a good way to make money, to live in Brazil, and to work with the characters that I love to read. But this is cool. But when you understand it's a business, when you understand that it's the editors, they are there to make money, and they know what they want to sell, and it's all right. Like and they know what people want, or they kind of know, or they think they know, whatever. But that's it. If you want to be part of it, you need to know what they want, and you need to see if you are able to do what they want, because they will not adapt it for you. And when I realized this, I just found my way in another area of comics, and especially I've understood that I needed to work as an author. I don't want to draw those stories. I don't want to draw a story that I didn't write. I don't feel like. As I said, that's not. I'm not saying that this is the way or the best way. I'm just saying that the best way is to find what works for you. And this helped me a lot because then I could, as I said, I started to study painting. It's not that today I could not work. And maybe I could work as an illustrator, but the style the editors want, it's not the style that I like to draw. It doesn't come easier. I don't have fun. So why would I work on something like this? And for some of my friends, it's the opposite. They just love it. They love it, everything about it. So what's important is to be happy. And to be happy sometimes, or especially, we need to know ourselves. An artist who doesn't know themselves, they are sometimes working with things or subjects that are not relevant for them. It's just because, oh, this is commercial. Oh, this I've heard that the American guys now, they are buying this kind of style, so let's work in this style. No, I would never do this. Okay, no, now this artist is the cool one for the industry, so let's work, like him and study his style so we can get. I don't believe. Maybe some people can do this and they feel happy. I cannot. As I said, I'm studying a style of an artist, but I'm studying a style of an artist that I love, that I want. It's not because it's commercial, it's because I just love his work. And I want to understand how he thinks. And then I will bring some of this to my own work when I'm doing. But I'm not thinking, okay, let's do just like Toulouse Lautrec. No, I'm just, when I go to do my paintings, I will not think on any artist. I will just think of what I want to paint, what I want to show, what I want to say. And then it will say by itself. Does it make sense? Okay, it's 1 hour. I've been painting. I think it's done. The lights and the brush strokes, it looks like a Lautrec painting. The vibe, the atmosphere. So I will finish here. So this is monochromatic. I only used blue and white. And do you feel that it needed black here? I could use, maybe, I will not promise you because I want to feel what I want to paint tomorrow. But I will try to do another of Lautrec's, maybe the same one, just to show you. Let's take the tape out. But like, imagine if I do the same one, but now with black and white and blue. And then maybe I will do it. It's kind of boring to do the same painting twice, but it's good for the study. And I've done the same painting like 10 times, but not, you know, like again. I wait for 2 or 3 paintings to go back to the same one. But I wanted to show you the same painting done only with the color and white, and then again the color in black and white, so you feel the low key and what it brings to the painting. So maybe I will do this for you, right? So that's here. I will post soon, and my Instagram, it's @DaviCalil, DAVICALIL, and I usually post a lot of things on Instagram as well, the stories and this stuff, right? So thank you very much again for being here, and see you soon. Take care of yourselves, take care of everybody, stay strong. We are going to pass through this coronavirus. See you soon. Bye bye.